The Battle of Good and Evil. Once upon a time, in lands far, far away, there were two neighboring realms called the Land of Sunlight and the Shadow Forest. The Land of Sunlight was a place where people lived happily and peacefully, the sun never set, and flowers bloomed everywhere. Everyone helped each other and never hesitated to do good deeds. In contrast, the Shadow Forest was gloomy, dark, and constantly shrouded in mist. The inhabitants enjoyed harming others and chased after wickedness. One day, the evil king of the Shadow Forest, Dark Darius, decided to attack the Land of Sunlight. His intention was to take over the Land of Sunlight and turn it into a dark place. The giant creatures of the Shadow Forest were determined to dim the bright light and beautiful colors of the Land of Sunlight. But Queen Radiant of the Land of Sunlight was ready to do whatever it took to protect her people. Queen Radiant called upon the bravest young people of her land and said to them, "We will not let darkness enter our realm. We may need to resist the Shadow Forest with strength, but we must remember that our greatest weapons will be kindness and love." With courage and kindness in their hearts, the young people set out toward the forest. When they encountered the dark creatures of the Shadow Forest, instead of fighting, they tried to approach them with friendship. The evil creatures initially mocked and tried to attack them, but the young people remained calm and patient. With kindness and compassion, they extended a helping hand and attempted to make friends with the dark creatures. After a while, some of the creatures of darkness began to be affected by the goodness within the young people. They, too, had grown weary of the darkness they had been in for years, but they didn't know what else to do, so they had followed Dark Darius. However, the young people's friendly attitudes and loving words brought out the goodness within them. In the end, many of the dark creatures accepted the friendship of the young people from the Land of Sunlight and decided to leave the Shadow Forest. But Dark Darius was still intent on pursuing evil. At that moment, Queen Radiant welcomed back the young people who had returned to the Land of Sunlight and gave them one final mission, to stop Dark Darius. When the young people faced Dark Darius, they reminded him of the harm that evil had caused and told him that he, too, was once good, but had simply forgotten it. Dark Darius was initially reluctant to believe these words, but deep down, he began to remember the warmth of the goodness he had once felt. His heart gradually softened, and finally, he agreed to lead a life filled with goodness instead of evil. From that day forward, the Shadow Forest and the Land of Sunlight lived in peace. Even the Shadow Forest slowly began to brighten, and the dark clouds dissipated. Everyone became friends, and once again learned that kindness and love are the strongest weapons of all, and the shining stars in the sky whispered the story to the children who listened, even darkness can be illuminated with kindness.